While I've reviewed Qantas's international, Trans-Tasman, and QantasLink routes, the only thing missing is Qantas's own domestic service. I booked a flight from Cairns to Sydney for about $130, as sadly there was no award space available. What followed was a bemusing adventure of mix-ups. How many things can Qantas manage to bungle? Let's find out. First of all, I was supposed to be flying on a 7:37 in the morning. However, about 2 weeks after booking my ticket, I was notified that the flight was cancelled and I was rebooked on an afternoon flight on an A330. I know flights get cancelled due to low load factor, but it's frustrating for sure. I took an Uber to the Cairns airport and made my way upstairs to the Qantas Club, which I could access with my Alaska status. The lounge was spacious with beautiful views of the runway, the lounge staff incredibly friendly, and the tea spread was modest but had made to order coffee and a host of sweets. Although I had missed Pence and Putin's planes, I did see Justin Trudeau take off on his way to APEC. Next thing to go wrong was the inbound flight was delayed. On the bright side, I was able to check out the lunch spread, which was DIY sandwiches or wraps. Finally, it was time to board. While I'm no gate agent, I would think that boarding a wide-body aircraft should be done in an organized fashion, by zone, row, or something. But nope, let's just let all 271 people on the plane at the same time. What could go wrong? Just past the agents was a bucket of headphones, which seemed odd but led me to believe there weren't any on board. Predictably, the queue to board was extensive. Upon boarding, I discovered someone else in my seat. A flight attendant informed me that I shouldn't have been able to board and that I had clearly walked off, my fault of course. Instead, she handed me a piece of paper indicating I was seated in the next row. Fine, whatever. The economy cabin on the A330 is laid out in a 2-4-2 layout, which I personally prefer to having 3 on the outside. There's also a real lie-flat business class cabin, which would have been a nice upgrade from the 737. Headsets were distributed, so I guess I didn't need to grab one on my way to the aircraft. There's the standard Qantas entertainment system that is finicky with a clunky user interface, a wimpy USB port that must be unplugged for takeoff, and the aircraft was not Wi-Fi enabled. Flying time was 2 hours and 28 minutes, and we went up to 41,000 feet. Sadly, the Great Barrier Reef was on the other side of the aircraft, but I did get a beautiful view of the rainforest and coastline. About an hour went by, so nearly half the flight, before any sort of service commenced. Given the late departure, it was roughly 2:30 at this point, I would expect they'd want to complete the service as soon as possible. But I witnessed the same inefficiencies on this flight as my other Qantas reviews. Those who ordered custom meals were served first, but it was nearly 20 minutes between their service and the general service. QantasLink and Qantas like their tarts. I get that now. Encase some meat in a buttery carb shell, and how can it go wrong? Well, on this flight, it was a Mexican and bean pie. I'm sorry, I'm all for multiculturalism, but this really didn't work. There's a reason I don't go to Mexican restaurants in Europe or Asia. It's just a cuisine that doesn't translate well. Adding some bell peppers and tomatoes to something just doesn't cut it. However, we soon made our descent into Sydney. After an incredibly long wait for my bag, I took the airport link to downtown. And yes, I know this isn't Qantas's problem anymore, but A, the train in the other direction was cancelled, and B, we ended up sitting for about 20 minutes outside of Central. So, Qantas Domestic. Yes, I know I've given them a hard time, but in all honesty, they seem perfectly fine. Snafus happen on any airline, and it was fun to fly a wide body on such a short route. My most recent comparison was on an American 787 from Dallas to Chicago, and Qantas has better seating configuration, though the same amount of legroom, and served Mexican tart instead of a Biscoff cookie. So I'd say it's fine, but nothing exciting. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe for many more flight reviews. I'll see you on the next one.